Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 6 between University of Washington and University of California at Riverside. And I just need to get back in the swing of things and just talk and listen to myself talk and test the audio quality of how I can speak and listen to myself talk and get the words out. Because it's been so long since I've cast. It has been a couple days, so I just need to get back into the swing of things. It has been far too long. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 6 between University of Washington and University of California at Riverside. And may as well just go ahead and get back into things. And you know what, I think I'll turn some music on in the background. I've been watching some of my previous games and they would be a little bit better with a bit of music, just some background ambiance when I forget to speak and use words. So playing for University of Washington, we have Winno, aka the Purple Terran, Acayex, aka Yex, because Acayex, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly or not, it could be Acayex, Acayex, whatever. Playing for UC Riverside, we have Lloydone as the Blue Protoss. So currently it is 3-2 in University of Washington's favor. So if University of Washington wins this game, that seals the series for them, and they will advance to the Grand Finals for CSL Season 5. I don't believe there is a consolation bracket for UC Riverside. I believe they would be eliminated if they don't manage to win this game, so kind of a lot riding on the line here. You got the Grand Finals, and being eliminated from the tournament, kind of a big deal for UC Riverside. So yeah, we do have a classic PVT or I don't know where I got the Z from. PVT or TVP, depending on your preference of which direction you want to go on the map. On Cloud Kingdom, and Cloud Kingdom is kind of notoriously it's an odd map for ones because it is only a 2-player map, but it is an exceptionally large 2-player map. I could see it working in favor for both the Protoss and the Terran. As a Zerg player, I hate this map because you have to, like this probe, just trying to get off the camera here, there are wide open spaces in the map, but they are blocked by destructible rocks. So unless your opponent is moving out and you're going to catch them unawares, really the only way to get a good surround is by destroying these rocks. So Terran tends to like chokes, not against Colossi mind you, but just in general the Terran does seem to like chokes, well, I suppose against the Zerg, whereas the Protoss also tend to like smaller, narrower spaces. So I'm not really sure how this could work out for either player, but so far we do have relatively standard safe builds. Orbital going down, no gas yet for Acayex, so it does look like he is just going to be nice and conservative. Get out the barracks first. Actually, with no gas, we may see a fast CC for a very fast expansion. If you'll take a look, the choke is actually relatively small, and it is not that difficult to throw down some bunkers in a defensive position, especially with a neutral supply depot there. So you really can get a very fast, very easily defensible expansion. Uh-oh, here come the Marines. It does look like they're going to try to pick off this probe. The probe may see that SCV, it does not, and here comes the SCV going for the CC in the Expo, so it does look like we are going to have a very fast aggressive expand, whereas uGpFabled is just now scouting around, potentially also going to expand. So this SCV takes a hit or two, scouts around, sees no nexus, and then should run away. SCV, what are you doing? Zealots hurt you. And we have a Pylon, and Stalker is now being chrono boosted out. I'm not sure I agree with the chrono boost going down on the Stalker unless Fabled really thinks he's going to be able to put on some pressure, but no, there is the bunker for Acayex. So Acayex just playing conservatively, nice and defensively, so this SCV is going to get back out of there. Uh-oh. The SCV may go down at 3 health. It does manage to get away. The Zealot and Stalker are chasing it, but it does look like these Marines are going to be able to do a lot of damage, and there goes the Zealot backing away. And the Marines should fall back to the bunker. 1, 2, 3 now get in. That Marine should fall back as well, but the Zealot actually taking a lot of damage, only at 32 health and 0 shield. So meanwhile, Fabled, after feigning with that forward pressure, has dropped a Nexus of his own. However, Acayex will be at an advantage just because he already has the CC in place and it will be finished. Meanwhile, we do have 1, 2, 3 more barracks in production for Acayex and a few more gateways and a robo for Fabled. There's 1, 2 gateways. Let's see if there's going to be another, or no, it just looks like good old 3-gate robo off of 2 gas, 1 base. So relatively standard play. We do see another bunker going down. It does look like Acayex is just playing as safe as possible. He will spend that 25. Yes, I did say 25 because of salvage, and that is a terrible ability, and I hate it. And this SCV will get caught by the Stalker. I don't think it will be able to get away. And oh no, Stalker microing to keep up, and it does get the kill. So unfortunately, that SCV will not be able to scout. This probe is already pulled off to the side of the base. So we may see a forward pylon for some early aggression. And I really like this Warp Prism that's coming out right now for Fabled. I really have enjoyed watching Warp Prism play recently, just because players finally seem to be doing the White Rift thing and getting the hang of that super crazy aggression that the Warp Prisms can really put on. So there it is right there, Warp Prism, heading out across the map, picking up a few Zealots actually, and now there goes the other Zealot, there it is. So we are going to see a little bit of forward pressure in the main. I'm not sure how well defended that it is. We also have a factory going down along with combat shields, so I'm not really sure. It does look like it is relatively vulnerable. These barracks are constantly producing Marines. I don't think we have any Marauders yet. No, only Marines. We take a look at the units tab. 15 Marines to 4 Zealots and 2 Stalkers. So oh, and now it looks like Acayex is actually pushing ahead a little bit, and here comes the Warp Prism. Did Acayex see it? He did not. It looks like he's actually moving forward, and the Warp Prism is going straight into the main, dropping 1, 2, 3, 4 Zealots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Immediately the SCVs get pulled, but so many of them are going down. 2 or 3 it looked like, and now the Marines are being pulled back. Actually, there are 4 being pulled to the side just to separate that Warp Prism from getting away on combat shields. Barely finishes. The Tech Lab is being sniped by the Zealots, but Tech Lab does just barely finish researching combat shields, and the Warp Prism, instead of pulling immediately out of the base where there was a small group of Marines on patrol, I like how it pulls into this negative dead space so it can get away. Meanwhile, we have this second Marine running around, so this will be able to see. Oh no, it's just scouting around, I believe. The Observer now scouting, and a very healthy number of Marines. What is that? Off of 4 barracks, it's at 26 Marines, so a very healthy number. It looks like they are going to cross the map and put on a little bit of damage, to try to put on some damage, but with the force fields, Fabled will be able to hold this for a very long time, and the Warp Prism needs to be careful. It is just barely being caught by those Marines, and the Marines kill one of their own in a fit of rage. And I don't like these SCVs. I'm not sure what these SCVs are doing. I think they were going to try to put down some forward bunkers, but I'm not quite sure I agree with that, just because the force fields are readily available. There are now 4 sentries, so that can be force fielded for not indefinitely, but a very long time. And Acayex just sitting at the bottom of the ramp just waiting for it, but now the Colossi is out. That is just going to melt those Marines, and the Colossi doesn't want to pop the force field, and Acayex just putting on so much pressure, trying to see if he can get anything done. And SCV does manage to get sniped by that Colossi, so Acayex does know, and he should fall back, which I believe he would be if he did not misrally his units. So we have 2 heading out, and 2 on the other side. And it does look like Fabled is now gearing up to take his 3rd, and this Marine will scout and see that. Another Marine misrallied. Acayex really not sure what he's doing, and there goes another one. Or perhaps these are just going to go take the watchtowers, maybe, I'm not sure. But we do also have Acayex also dropping his own 3rd and teching up just a little bit. We take a look at the units tab, which is already open. We can see it's 35 SCVs in 1 mule to 46 probes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to apologize for the sudden break in the cast. I was just having some computer trouble, but I am back, and I believe I was talking about, in the units tab, 47 workers compared to 37 SCVs. So if we take a look at both players' income, which I believe should be this hotkey right here, Control I for income, it's actually relatively even. It does look like Fabled is just barely ahead in minerals and gas, just because he does have those additional workers, and it does actually look like we do have Fabled now moving out across the map with the Zealot Stalkers and 2 Colossi. I'm going to see if he can put on a little bit of pressure. We do have +1 weapons and armor for the Protoss, along with extended thermal lance for the Colossi. That's about 20 seconds away from finishing, along with only +1 weapons and stim going down for the Marines. So now that only now that Marauders are being added in, we currently are up to 5 Marauders. This army really is kind of weak against the massive Colossi ball that is presented by Fabled, and it does look like Fabled is just going to fall back. Looks like he did just want to let his opponent know that he has a Colossi, just push out onto the map, see if he can do a little bit of harass, just kind of make sure his opponent is fully aware of what's going on. So we do have another observer going out to scout, and now Viking production has started. Let's see, off of a reactor, so we do have Vikings to now deal with those Colossi, and the orbital is now finished for Acayex, so that should be able to lift off and go down to the third. Excuse me, I just had some very tasty soup, and I'm trying not to, you know, continue tasting the soup in my teeth. So we do have +2 weapons and armor. Now that +1 is finished now in production, so I really like this use of the Chrono Boost, just dumping it into upgrades instead of in units, because currently Fabled doesn't really need to do that, and now it looks like Acayex is ahead in supply. Wow, he just leapt ahead with all that unit production. Up to 125 to his opponent's 100, so now we're up to 4 Vikings, along with still at 6 or 7 Marauders, so relatively safe, cautious play from both players, and a scan does go down to take out the Observer. So relatively nice defensive play. We do have Blink now in production. Both players are transitioning into a standard mid to late game, so we're probably going to see that Death Ball push come out pretty soon. Once 2-2 finishes, or maybe Fabled will just go ahead and wait until 3-3 before he finally decides to push, and Acayex is countering excellently to these Colossi. I really do like this counter with the Vikings. I wonder if Acayex is still even continuing with the Colossi production. I'm trying to find where he situated his army. There he is. So Acayex actually hasn't really warped in that many units. We take a look at the units tab. 3 Colossi. So Acayex is actually a relatively small army. So as far as army goes, we can definitely see that Acayex is ahead. We do have a couple of Archons now in production from a Templar Archives that did finish. I don't believe Storm is on the way. +2 is about to finish. Charge is about to finish. Let's see, Templar Archives. So no, Storm is not being researched. We do have a couple of pylons being warped around for vision. Meanwhile, this Marine is scanning around, just seeing. He does see that one pylon. He will be able to kill it. Let's see if Fabled does respond. He's going to send over an Archon to deal with that one Marine. So here comes the Marine now, just scouting around the map, and I absolutely hate this pylon placement from the Protoss. It forces the Protoss to warp into the low ground, which really is not a good place to try to engage your opponent. We do see +3. +3 is now in production for Fabled, so it does look like he is going to be gearing up for that late game push. However, upgrades have only just started for Acayex, so he's getting +2 weapons, +1 armor, and +1 ship weapons. I'm not sure that I quite agree. Well, I was talking about the pylon placement. So with this pylon, the only place you can warp in is into a choke, which against the Terran, you really don't want to be caught in, because your units will just get funneled into that heavy Marine fire, especially if you engage right about here, or even if you're on the high ground, your units will have to run either all the way down and around, or all the way back up to the outside and around. So I certainly hope that that pylon is just for vision, though there is a small dead spot of vision here where a medevac would be able to sneak through, but it doesn't even look like Acayex is playing to that end, only just now adding medevacs to his army, and there's Storm finally in production, along with 2 more Archons, so it does look like Fabled isn't even going to try to get that energy on the Templar, so it does look like Acayex is now clearing up the map just a little bit, just making sure he can push forward. It is currently 200 supply to his opponent's 150, with Acayex in the supply lead. We do have a Nexus going now for Fabled. He really needs to be careful with this Nexus. Acayex has a very scary army. A lot of Marines, a lot of Marauders. That's about 6 Vikings along with some medevacs for support. There is, meanwhile, a small contingent of Marines and Marauders back at home just for defense. It does look like Fabled's forward pylon will get sniped, and Storm is finished. I don't know if there are any medevacs in there that do have... There are no, High Templars. It does look like we are going to have an engage. No, just simply backing off. Big stim going down for Acayex. All his units are very low. I don't agree with stimming all those units. And, caught in the choke. Acayex takes some big damage from the Colossi. The Archons and Zealots are now getting in with the army. The Vikings need to push forward and try to take out those Colossi, but the Stalkers are pulling him down. Let's go ahead and drop this. Can we drop the UI? Can we do that? No, we can't right now, but it does look like Acayex is losing a lot of units with this push that very fast. 3-3 has done tons and tons of damage. The Colossi are sitting at 5 kills, 5 kills, and 2 kills. So the Colossi have done tons and tons of damage. It does look like Fabled is now going to push in, see if he can counter and do a lot more damage to his opponent. We do have a Reaper in production. I'm not sure I agree with the Reaper. Now more Marines are in production. These units are just going to get force fielded off and obliterated by those Colossi. The Sentry Stalkers are cleaning them up, while the Archon is holding the front at his own. 2 more are now engaging. These Colossi do need to support the Archons. They do need to get in and kill off those Marines. Now the Stalkers blink forward. The very, very fast 3-3 does look like it did secure a very, very good victory for Fabled. Acayex is definitely very far behind. We even did have a Zealot warp in back at the 3rd to try to clear that up. Meanwhile, we have more Zealots just waiting to be resupplied. Acayex has lost so much. We take a look at the workers. 43 workers killed. There it is, GG. Acayex taps out of game number 6, which ties it up for the series, bringing it to an ace match. 3-3, University of Washington versus University of California at Riverside. And I just realized I casted that entire thing with the replay tab open. I did make a mistake. I am human. I apologize. I will see you guys in game number 7 before I stop embarrassing myself.